Good evening, my fellow Tottenham fans, and welcome back to the Irish, or sorry, not the Irish Hotspur. We are Tottenham TV for the pre-match pub with you, myself, and Kate from Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs. Big game tonight, another London derby. It's coming in thick and fast with another big game at the weekend. Hopefully, it's a lot better than what the North London derby was. Speaking of North London derby, Kate, we were both there, had the pleasure of being at the game. Some would say maybe not so much of a pleasure after the result, but how are you feeling after that game? Because speaking to a lot of people after the game, it's sort of like a lot of people are saying our season's over. Do you agree with that?
For me, I didn't have any expectations for the season anyway. So whether it's over or not doesn't matter to me. I just want to see us play good football. Disappointing result of the weekend, but good to see the boys fighting back and getting a couple of goals. Didn't like the team line up on the day. Didn't think Ange got it right, but hoping for a better result tonight, Dave. And obviously, it was good to meet you and all the other Tottenham fans that were there, and great experience at the new stadium.
No, look, it was a feisty one, that's for sure. I mean, we were very, very close to the away fans. I have to say, I enjoyed it and that, but they're not a nice bunch to us Spurs fans whatsoever. That's what I would say. But look, I did leave disappointed. I think being 3-0 down inside 38 minutes should never, ever happen at home at a North London derby. Like you said, we show a great fight back and stuff, but I think a lot of fans were expecting a lot more. And I do hear a lot of fans saying the season is over. For me, look, I can understand having that opinion. We all know what the North London derby means to us. But look, it's another one tonight, and we can't forget, Pochettino got one over us earlier on in the season. They derailed our campaign to a degree. We haven't been able to get it back on track since then, and we do owe them one. It's a big London derby. It's another chance to salvage a bit of pride. But not only that, if we win this, it means there is something on that Liverpool game for us, because we'll still be sort of chasing down that top 4 spot. So let's see how we get on today. But it is a big game, and look, maybe it's the eternal optimist in me, but I can't give up hope yet, and I'll keep fighting until the end of the season. But I understand that, people saying that maybe it is over from that point of view. But, Kate, speaking of lineups, Paul O'Keefe has put out a tweet earlier on, or just not so long ago, about 16 minutes ago. I'm not sure whether he knows something that we don't, but he says, could be an interesting lineup this evening. Madison could miss out, Emerson at left back, Richie in, Basuma, Sarr and Kulu. Big decisions for Ange. I mean, I agree with you. I do think he got the lineup wrong in the North London derby. I think he was given almost Højbjerg and Davies maybe testimonials, which I think came back to bite us. Are you expecting big changes into that lineup tonight?
I hope so. I hope Richie starts. I think we needed him. I mean, a couple of people said to me after the game that if Richie had started, he'd have got sent off. But I think we needed his physical presence on Sunday. So I hope he starts. I hope Højbjerg is nowhere near that team to start, because we lose every time he starts. I want to see Sarr there. I quite happily see Madison miss out. I thought he was awful at the weekend again. I don't know what's happening, but I think he needs to know that if he's not performing, he's liable to be dropped. So, I'm, as always, going to be interesting to see what Ange does. See where he sees this game going. But like you say, time to get a bit of pride back tonight and stick one on Pochettino.
No, 100%. It'd be absolutely nice to salvage a bit of pride. But look, I do agree. I think there has to be changes to that lineup. Don't get me wrong. I think, look, it's proven that no matter the variations of who he puts in there, his system works in getting us into the final third and being on the front foot for large majorities of the game. But being turned over, going the other way is a problem. Set pieces is a problem, and the lack of creativity in the final third is a problem as well. And look, Madison has had a long run in the team to show that he can be that guy. Now, I don't put everything on him. I argue the lack of a vocal point up front is a problem. Is there any coincidence when Richarlison coming on, we start putting balls into the box? I mean, I don't know about UK in the first half, but it's almost when Kulu or Porro were getting into good positions down that right-hand side. Same with Brennan Johnson to a degree when he came on for Werner. It's almost like Son was late getting into the box and he had to come back with it. And I do want to see it change, because I think Son looked a lot more confident when he was getting on the ball on the left-hand side, actually running at the opposition. Yeah. And you could see it put a bit of fear into them as well. When Son plays with his back to goal, there is no fear with the opposition, because that's not Son's strongest asset. And I do think tonight I want to see a bit more of a physical presence up front, and I want to see Richarlison go back up there, because I do think we looked a lot better and it gave us different avenues of attack.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I've got to say, when the lineup came out on Sunday, I was devastated Richie wasn't there. Didn't think I'd be saying it. Everyone knows I'm not his biggest fan, but he does give us something different. And like you say, Son looks so much more comfortable when he's on the left. I think Richie, we need his aerial threat and we need his physicality as well. I think we've really missed that with him being out injured. So I'm hoping, I'm sure he will, but I'm hoping Richarlison starts with Sonny on the left today. Bit gutted Werner's missing out purely because I was hoping he'd score against his old team.
Look, that would have been nice, but we will have to have a conversation about that. I've got his minutes and his games and his assists and stuff, and do we want to take up that option? Of course, him now being out for the season. But look, we said what we wanted in the front line. When it comes to the midfield, I think one of the biggest mistakes we made on Sunday was actually not starting Papa Matasar. When he came on, you could really see what he brings into that midfield in terms of the aggressiveness, the willing to go and hunt the ball, the desire to turn it over. I think that was missing to a large degree when he wasn't in there. Would you agree with that, or do you think Postecoglou made the right decision in that regard?
No, I think Sarr needed to start. I was absolutely dumbfounded that he didn't start. I know he is carrying a back injury, but it's not just his physical presence, but his work rate is off the scale. He covers every blade of grass. It can be tricky. I expect him to start tonight. I hope Maddison misses out. I wouldn't even be against, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I wouldn't even be against Lo Celso getting a start. It looks like he's going to be staying at the club from what I'm reading anyway. And whether it's I know it's baffling. I mean, I thought it was a joke when I read it, but it looks like they're looking at a new contract for Lo Celso. And then I assume he'll put Basuma in as well. But yes, Sarr has to start tonight.
Look, I think it's important. He didn't start against Newcastle. We got walloped. He didn't start against Arsenal, 3-0 down at half-time. There's a recurring team. And interesting enough, the 13 games that he's missed or started on the bench for Tottenham, we've dropped points in 9 of them. And two of the 4 wins, he's actually come on at half-time and helped change the game. So it shows how important he is to that midfield. And he has to play for me. He's very, very important. Going into Maddison, look, it does seem like from Postecoglou's press conference that he's going to stick with James Maddison. He was sort of asked, how do you play James, get more out of Maddison than what we're seeing? He sort of just said persist with it. So it'd be interesting to see whether he does drop him or not. For me, I think he should. He had no problem dropping Sarr. He had no problem dropping Kulu when the performances weren't there, and same to Brennan Johnson to a degree. Now, I will give Postecoglou credit. He has pulled off Maddison, I think, 5 of the last 6 games when we've been chasing a goal. He hasn't been afraid to show that he will do it. Same with Son to a degree. But I would like to see Kulusevski come in there, Kate, because I'd argue we looked a lot better when he moved into that role when Maddison was taken off.
100%. I 100% agree. I thought Kulu had actually had a good game. I said to you before the match, I know we spoke, and I said I wanted Kulu to start. And I thought amongst a pretty poor first half, for me, he was one of the shining stars for us. We miss his strength when he's not on there, and I do like him in the middle. He's got more space there. And yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see what Angie's going to do. But I definitely wouldn't be against that at all.
And then, look, number 6, I agree with you. Look, I thought Zinedine Sosberg had an all right game against Arsenal, to be brutally honest. But it's just, no matter how good he plays, there's always that element of danger with him, whether it's playing across a ball across his own box and getting intercepted, or putting one in the back of his own net like he did, against Arsenal. There's always that with him. And for me, look, I think you have to put Basuma back in there. I know a lot of us have had our complaints and stuff about Basuma, but I think we look just a little bit more short all round in terms of defensively, even on the ball, when he is in there. And I think he has to start. But look, Kate, a lot of the talking point, because the lineups are out in about 12 minutes, we'll have more things to talk about as well. But left back seems to be a bit of contention. A lot of people don't want to see Emerson there. They want Dragusin brought back in and maybe Van de Ven moved out there. I mean, what backline do you want to see tonight?
The trouble is, if we bring Dragusin back in, he's not left-footed either. So it kind of it creates a whole other problem. So I think Emerson, believe me, I would rather see anyone but Emerson. But I think he gets a bit of unwarranted hate. He's a bit of a scapegoat for Spurs fans. So I would rather see Emerson start on the left, I think, and keep Van de Ven and Romero in the middle. That's just my personal opinion. I wouldn't put Dragusin there.
Look, I can understand the cause, and maybe as well, a part of it is to maybe help us from set pieces, which we'll get on to in a minute. But for me, when Dragusin played at left-sided centre-back against Fulham, I just think he kind of caused us a little bit problems and made us a little bit nervous because he wasn't confident playing out on his left foot, venturing forward with the ball. He was good at running with the ball. Good to see you, Jimbo. How are you keeping, my man? Keeping well. Nice jersey. I've got that jersey as well. It's a nice one, actually. one of the only green ones I do like. I think green's a horrible colour for a jersey.
Yeah.
But with Dragusin, I think against Fulham, he didn't fill me with confidence in terms of passing out from the back. He was a bit sort of clumsy on his left foot, and I do think that would get punished tonight if he were to maybe be as clumsy as he was. Don't get me wrong, defensively, I thought he was all right to a large degree, and I was impressed with some of his long-range passes. But it was the consistency. There was a couple earlier on in the game where he went to put to Ben Johnson and it went out into the stands. And Eric Dyer used to do that. And we all knew what was coming a few minutes later. And the same happened against Fulham. So for me, I would actually play Van de Ven, keep him at the left-sided centre-back, and I'd actually move Emerson into left-back. Because I don't know about you, Kate, but for me, I think Romero and Van de Ven are the perfect partnership and one we should actually look to build off. Can they be as good as Toby and Jan? Because with Van de Ven's recovery pace, Romero knows he can go on the front foot, be proactive, go and try and dislodge that ball, hunt it, try and win it, because he knows Van de Ven will mop up behind him. But also it suits Van de Ven because one of Van de Ven's weaknesses, which I do think he needs to prove if he wants to go to that next level, is maybe be a bit more aggressive and more commanding in the air. So he doesn't really want to do that job. So he's more than happy to let Romero go and do it mop up behind. And I actually think they're the perfect partnership, and I don't want to see it broken up personally.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I think they've really found the Toby and Jan partnership we've all been looking for. Van de Ven's pace is just, I mean, again, on Sunday, to watch him actually at the stadium and watch him run, it's like you expect smoke to be coming from behind him. He's so super quick. And I think Romero, I think a lot of the reason his temperament has calmed down is because he's got that confidence in Van de Ven, knowing that he will mop up. So it kind of calms Romero. So yeah, if we can avoid sort of disrupting that partnership at all costs, that's exactly what I'd do. Keep him there. I think everyone feels far more comfortable when it's those two at the back. It's just getting the two, the left and the right backs sorted. And
No, 100%. Look, I completely agree with you. Derek Hutchinson is saying, why did we buy Dragusin? That is the question. Look, if in case we need him, in case we get an injury to Romero or a Van de Ven, and at the end of the day, it's down to the player as well to show with his opportunities that he's better than them guys. And Dragusin, he had his opportunity. And look, he done all right, and it is his first game. I get that. But he didn't do enough in that opportunity to displace a Romero or a Van de Ven. And that's just the harsh reality of top-level football. But he will get games, more so next season, because going into Europe, we're going to carry more injuries than what we did this season. Make no mistake about it. So there's going to be game time. But back onto Van de Ven's pace, I mean, it was absolutely hilarious, Kate, because me and the guys around me, we were just laughing. Every time the ball went in behind you could almost see the Arsenal players give up and go, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's a cheat code. We were just laughing because we're like, here comes the freight train, choo, choo. It was absolutely brilliant. But like you could almost, and you could see the confidence it gives Romero to go and hunt the ball from the back line into the midfield, even up to the forward line to a certain degree. So it is one that I do think is really, really starting to work, and I don't want to break it. But how do you feel about Romero heading into this game, Kate? Because it is Chelsea he has form against. The Cucurella hair pull at the end of last season, which he got away with, and probably was why he got sent off at the start of this season, even though for me it was never a red card. And it's been proven since by the Premier League not giving them as red cards anymore that it wasn't, despite Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher being adamant it was. Are you worried about Romero heading into this game and keeping his head?
I'm always a little bit worried about Romero. I'm not going to lie, because we all know he can sort of turn on a sixpence in a bad way. But these are the games where he's got to prove why he's vice captain, why he's got to prove why he needs to be in this team. Because I was one of the people who, were of the opinion, if we can get rid of him and get someone sort of better and more reliable, we should do it. And it's because of games like this, he needs to keep his head and not do anything stupid. There's always a part of me that is worried with him, but I think this sort of first part of this season, I think he's had one yellow card, has he? Maybe two. He does seem to have calmed down. So, but this is a massive test for him, in my opinion, to see where his head's at. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of people saying that he's definitely going to be gone in the summer, Romero. So, which I find fascinating. But we'll see. As I say, this is his time to prove that he can take on the responsibility of being a vice captain and not do anything stupid.
Do you know what, Kate? Personally, I don't have the worries about Romero. I think with the sort of leader that he is on the pitch in terms of how he plays, I think you're always going to get a couple of red cards here and there, and I'm not excusing it. But I did argue that red card against Chelsea earlier on the season wasn't a red card. And I got pelters for it at the time, but it seems like more and more people have come around to my thinking on it since then. And I think if that wasn't given, which it shouldn't have been, I don't think we'd even be having these worries about Romero this season, because when he came back against West Ham, he put a ball in the back of the net and gave the fans that, and he led the line the right way. Okay, the result didn't come out the way we wanted. Not London Derby, he was absolutely superb. Even though everyone else's head dropped at 3-0, he didn't. He still led the way, still led the fight, and led the team in the right way. And some would say, them actions, people, maybe a bit too late, but they started to follow them after a while, the enthusiasm started to rub off. So for me, I'm not worried about him heading into this game. I think he has shown that he has matured to a large degree in that manner. But hey, look, that could be the famous last words, because I know if he gets sent off tonight, I'll be the first place everyone will be going to give abuse to, and I've probably jinxed it. So Romero, please don't let me down in that regard. But we are a couple of minutes out from the lineups, but there does seem to be a lot of noise on Twitter that James Maddison has dropped and Richarlison has come in and Johnson's in. So we'll wait and see for the official lineups, which are out in 4 minutes' time. But Kate, one win at Stamford Bridge in 34 years. Our record is absolutely appalling there. But Chelsea do have a lot of injuries. I believe up to 14 injuries. No better time than now, right, to go and change the course of history and rewrite history a little bit. Do you think that's going to happen tonight, or do you think, the curse of Stamford Bridge will go on?
It's a toughie, this one, because, like you say, it's never a good time to play him because our record's so bad. But at the same time, if you can keep Cole Palmer quiet, you can pretty much you're pretty safe. But for some reason, they've got this thing where we kind of half look beaten before we even start. But the curse has got to end at some point, Dave. It's like everything. It all has to come to an end. The key danger is going to be Cole Palmer, and if we can keep him quiet, I'm hoping we can get something out of this game. I want to do it because it's Chelsea, obviously, but also because of the match earlier in the season, like you say, because we've never got back to playing the way we played before that Chelsea match. We had the injuries, the suspensions, obviously Poch with the history of Pochettino. It just feels like we need to do them tonight, and if we don't, any chance of top four, in my opinion, goes completely out the window. There's not a lot of chance now, but if we lose tonight, that's it for me. Or even draw if we don't win. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. Battle of the Bridge, one of my favourite games ever. And just because I love the needle, I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. That's what I like, the passion. But I hope nobody does anything stupid tonight on our side and gets themselves sent off. That's the main concern, I think.
No, 100%. I completely agree with you. And look, they should probably all be aware that the referee is going to be looking for any excuse to send them off. Since that Liverpool game where we were on the right, or, we received the benefit of the doubt in a lot of decisions. Since then, we've been punished every single game since. So, hopefully the players realize that and, respond to it in the right way. But look, for me, it's a hard one to know what's going to happen tonight, Kate, because when no one expects Tottenham to turn up and pull out a result or do something, they usually do. But when the pressure's on is when they usually let you down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them turn up tonight. But on the contrary, we were there under Pochettino, the Battle of Bridge, like you said. Chelsea season was over. They had nothing to play for but spoil our party, and they did. So even when they have nothing to play for, they still turn up for Tottenham. They absolutely despise us. So I'm a bit torn on how tonight's game's going to go. But I think you're right. Stop Cole Palmer. I think it gives us a brilliant chance. We should have signed him in the summer, by the way. What a player he's turned out to be. But it's a hard one tonight. I do believe in the voodoo because we've gone there with better teams and we've been beaten up, we've been bet and stuff like that. So I'm probably not really expecting too much tonight. So hopefully I have everything to gain, which would be absolutely class in that degree. But I do believe in the curse. So, but like many, I just want to see a team that turns up and fights tonight, that shows a bit of passion for the badge, but most importantly, shows a bit of intensity in the first half as well. We can't keep turning up the games in the second half and expecting to claw everything back. You know, we need to turn up in first half games with a bit of intensity, do the right things, do the basics, but also with the amount of possession we usually have. We had like 78% possession against Arsenal, but we do nothing with it. Try different things. I mean, they should have seen it when Porro took that long-distance shot, the double ricochet that ended up falling to Van de Ven. You know, things like that can happen for you, can go your way. And I want to see us trying to actually actively and go and restore a bit of pride. What I don't want to see is that some of these guys cower like they did to the back end of last season after their Newcastle defeat to 6-1. Newcastle better, so since then we haven't really recovered. So I actually want to see something different tonight. I want to see a little bit of fight. So let's wait and see. But look, the lineups are out, so just bear with me. I am going to bring them up. Let's see if we've got any radical changes like some people have been suggesting. Just bear with me. So the lineups are out. I'm going to get them up on screen now. We'll have a little bit of a discussion on it. Present, share screen. Here we are. Look at this bad boy. Okay, so the starting lineup, we have Vicario in goals, Pedro Porro at right back, Romero centre back along with Van de Ven and Royal at left back. I mean, some would call me psychic. Basuma in the midfield along with Sarin Kulizeski. Again, some would call me psychic. With Johnson outright, Richarlison through the middle and Son on the left. Again, some would call me psychic. Because you know why, Kate? Ange Postecoglou must have been watching my predicted lineup because that's exactly what I picked and put out yesterday, earlier on in the day, for this lineup to happen. So hopefully it does me a lot of justice. On the bench, we have Brandon Austin, Dragusin, Skip, Zinedine Salzburg, Rodrigo Bentancur, James Maddison, Lo Celso, Brian Gil-Messi, and young Mikey Moore, who has been training with the first team the last 3 weeks. And the under-18s and 21s have had games since and hasn't been any of the match day squads. Could we see a debut from him tonight? That would be nice. I mean, it'd be nice to get to the point where we're 3 or 4 in, and it's all it is, and we can bring Mikey Moore on. That'd be absolutely brilliant. But I have to say, I'm absolutely buzzing with that lineup because that's the exact lineup that I picked and I want to see. And hopefully it does not let me down tonight, Kate. Kate, we did question Postecoglou's lineup, you know, before the North London Derby. Do you think he's got this one spot on?
I'm just getting it up now because it didn't show on my screen. I don't know why.
Sorry.
I'm just looking
Jesus.
now.
There I was going with no lineup. My bad.
That's all right.
There it is there.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's exactly how I saw it going. And yeah, it's a great lineup for what we've got. I know a lot of people are having a meltdown that we've got Emerson, but what else does he do? And like I say, in the same way that I think Werner is a scapegoat for a lot of people, I think Emerson gets a lot of unwarranted hate. I know you think that Richarlison gets a lot of unwarranted hate, Dave. There's always somebody that they're looking to blame. But Emerson, to be fair, at times he's done all right for us. So there should be enough there for us to at least get a draw, in my opinion. It's a decent lineup with what we've got. We need Kulu to play is best in the middle, which is, you know, where it looks like he's going to be. And I'm pleased with it. I think it's a good lineup, to be fair.
Do you know what I like is going in? I think it's going to be a very physical sort of lineup. We should stand up to the early exchanges in the heat of the battle. It's where we shied away against Newcastle and to a large degree, maybe against Arsenal. For me, I think everyone here should be standing up. I think Royal, look, everyone has their problems with him on the ball, which I fully understand. I'm not going to sit and argue that. But defensively, over the course of this season, when we've called the guy in, I think he's been good. I don't think there's too many goals that I can pinpoint being on him exactly. When Davies has filled in, there's a load of goals I can pinpoint on him that come straight to memory. So for me, I think Royal's is the right decision tonight. Okay, you're going to suffer a bit on the ball, but that's where you have to get Pedro Porro then to make it up on the right-hand side. Let him adventure a bit more forward the way we did with Doji and get Emerson to more of come into the midfield like we do with Pedro Porro. In terms of the midfield, Basuma, Sarr, Kulizeski, that's the midfield I wanted to see. It should be robust. It should be combative. Sarr will bring that fight. He'll bring that combativeness and he'll turn over a lot of balls. So I'm very happy with that. Basuma, I think we just look a lot more comfortable in possession, a lot more assured, especially sitting in the final third with him at the base and at midfield. But he will have to switch on defensively and not be caught because he'll have Cole Palmer running all in behind him and everything else. So he's going to have to stay alert and switched on. But no Maddison. Maddison has been dropped. I mean, Kate, not ideal time for him with the Euros coming up.
No, but I think, do you know what? I respect Ange for doing it. I think it's a brave decision to drop him. And I think every player needs to not be too comfortable and know that if they're not performing, they're going to be dropped. And what I like is we've got that creativity on the bench, because I think with us, we need to soak up a lot of the pressure in the first half because we seem to be slow starters. But then at halftime, we've got the option. We've got Benny on the bench. We've got Madison's on the bench, right? Is he on the bench?
Yeah,
Madison's on the bench. Yeah. So you've got those options to bring on to, like I say, add to the creativity. But massive respect to Ange for me, because I was calling for him to be dropped, and it could work in the way of he's realised he's not undroppable and pulls his finger out, because, like I say, on Sunday I thought he was horrendous.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a case if we lose, you're going to have people say, "Well, he should have started Madison." It's one of them. You can't please everyone all of the time, but it's exactly what I would have done. I would have dropped him to the bench in 100%.
Do you know what I like about it? Look, whether it works out in our favour or not is a different story, and I think many people have been asking for him to be dropped. We'll probably get our answer tonight, right? But what I like about it is, in years gone by, we'd never have seen us drop to the bench, a Kane drop to the bench and stuff like that, even if they were playing poor. And I think it actually sends out a statement. I like it. It sends out a statement to everybody else. It doesn't matter who you are, how big you are, how recently we've signed you, and the fanfare that you come with. It does not matter. If you're not playing, you will drop to the bench. And I like that. I do like that.
Yeah.
I like a bit of a meritocracy. I think that's the way it should be. I don't think any player, or certainly when I argued about selling Harry Kane, everyone told me no player is bigger than the club. So I'm glad Postecoglou has took that philosophy and ran with it and has dropped Maddison for his poor performances. Be interested to see how James Maddison responds. I'd argue the kick up the hole might actually do him the world of good. I mean, part of me thinks he's been holding himself back to maybe not take the contact. That's why he's been playing so deep of late, so he doesn't pick up another injury before the Euros. But I think it's actually gone against him, because when you look at likes of Cole Palmer, I'm sorry, there's no way you can't bring him. The way Phil Foden affects games, Jude Bellingham, people like that, Eze at Palace to a large degree this season and stuff like that. I think Maddison's spot is hugely under pressure. So it's up to him when he gets the opportunity to come off the bench tonight, not only fight for his Tottenham place, but he's fighting for his seat on the plane. So I might actually give Maddison the kick up the hole he needs. But also I will say, it's a huge opportunity for Kulusevski. I mean, he's been speaking about that he prefers to play through the middle, run down through the middle and stuff like that. So it's a huge opportunity for him tonight to show what he can do there, to try and displace someone like Maddison, because there's been a lot of questions around Kulu's end product this season. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what sort of performance he puts in. But I like the braveness of it, and I like the message that it sends out in general. And hopefully you'll see a reaction from everyone else tonight, because I've been in dressing rooms like that where you go, holy shit, so-and-so's not playing. And it just makes you think about the game a little bit more, be a bit more on it, be a bit more switched on. So I really like that, Kate.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like I said, I think a few of our players have become a bit comfortable knowing that they're sort of a guaranteed starter. And I think no matter how much of a key player you are, you need to know that if you're not performing, you're going to be dropped. And I think Maddison is quite, a lot of people say he's cocky. I like to just think he's confident in his own ability. And maybe he needs to be told, you might be confident in your own ability, but you're not convincing enough. So, take your place on the bench and give someone else a turn. And it could hopefully come back twice as strong now from having that little bit of a kick to the ego, if you like.
I hope so. I really do hope so. And I hope he realises what he's fighting for as well. Because if he doesn't make this Euros, next one will probably be 30 by the time it comes around. 31, is he going to make that one? So, I mean, it's all on James Maddison now. And I don't want to hear him moaning that, blaming Ange that he got dropped near towards the end of the season. And that's the reason why he doesn't make it. Rightly so. He's not performing. You're dropped. So, huge opportunity. Brennan Johnson, though, okay? I mean, look, I've softened my stance on him over the course of the season. But against Arsenal and North London Derby is where I have problems with the guy. How many balls did he put in the box for catch and practice for David Raya without any real quality end product? I mean, I have concerns that is he ever really going to step up in the big games and the big moments where it really matters. I think he's a good player against, the likes of the lower teams, and I think he'll always do a good job for you against them and be consistent. But I worry, is he going to be good enough for us in the big games under the pressure? I mean, how do you think Johnson's going to get on tonight? Because the last two games against Newcastle and against Arsenal, no end product, and I don't think he's been good.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced. I like him when he comes off the bench, because I think his energy and he just looks far better and more comfortable coming on as a
Mm,
sub. But at the minute, with the squad we've got and the situation we're in, we haven't got that much choice. So, but I'm kind of like you. I don't hate the guy, and there is a player there. I'm just not sure he's the player that should be starting every week that can take
mm,
us to the next level. Like you say, against the lesser teams, he's more likely to perform. But I want him to step up and show that he can do
yeah,
it. But I'm just not convinced that he will. But it's another one where he's got to take these opportunities and show why, not only why we paid that much money for him, but why he deserves to be starting for a club like Tottenham week in, week out. Because summer's
yeah.
coming. So really, every one of these players should be thinking to himself, is my place in the starting lineup guaranteed? They should all be shaking in their boots, really, because
Mm,
it looks like he's a brave manager to me who isn't frightened to make sort of
mm,
big choices and big
mm.
decisions. So yeah, like I say, we're all hoping that he comes good. It would just be a case of waiting and seeing.
Mm, mm. Look, it's been an all right first season. Can he kick on next season? Let's wait and see. But lastly, Kate, I mean, young Mikey Moore on the bench. Let's not forget this was a guy whose contract was coming to an end. Real Madrid were lurking. Borussia Dortmund were trying to lure him over. We managed to tie him down to a new contract. He's on the bench tonight. Do you think there's a possibility we see the debut of a superstar potentially? Because he's very
Oh,
highly rated.
he is. I really hope so. I really hope so. I hope that even if it's a tight game, I really want to see him given a chance. Because how do we know if he's a superstar until we see him play? If Kane had never got his chance, it's all these different scenarios.
Stephen
Everybody
Gerrard
wrote about
play
the
right back in years gone by.
Exactly. If everybody watches him, I've seen him play quite a few times. He looks like he could be amazing. So yeah, I
Mm,
really hope that regardless of where we're sat, whatever the scoreline is, whether we're 3-0 up or 3-0 down, I hope he gets a chance to come on for 15 minutes or something and give him a taste of it, because you never know. Like I say, we could be absolutely sitting on a megastar here, and until
mm,
he plays against these big teams, we're not going to know.
mm, mm. Well, look, it'd be interesting. I would love to see the kid. You know, I mean, I'm a big advocate of the youth getting their
Yeah.
opportunities. Um, and look, when it comes to Mikey Moore, I mean, he has had a lot of injuries this season and stuff like that. But the fact that he's trained the last 3 weeks with the senior team, hasn't been in any of the under 18s or 21 match day squads, probably shows that he's the guy that they're going to look to bring through next season. And the reason why I say that is because we're not going to keep shelling out 47 million for Brennan Johnson level players to fill out the homegrown side of our squad. And that's the next side that really needs to be filled out. And at some point, they're
Mhm.
going to turn to the academy to fill it out. And Mikey Moore could be the next one on the production line. I don't want to put too much pressure on the kid. He's only 16, 17 years of age. He's only a young lad. But it's good to see that we are actually getting to the point where we are actually rewarding some of them with opportunities on the bench, and maybe showing that there is a bit of a pathway through for them where we haven't in years gone by. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But Kate, before we go and get your score prediction, why do people need to get across and subscribe to your channel?
Yes, come across Just Go Love Spurs. We've been off this week actually because we've been spending some time down in London after the North London derby, but we're back on Monday lunchtimes. We cover the whole of the Premier League, mainly Tottenham talk. We've had some ex-footballers on. There's always me and my husband, Queen Ellie, Chang. Yeah, we cover everything Spurs. So come on over. It's a nice community. There's never we never shout and scream at each other. We chuck in a bit of humour because you've got to have a bit of a sense of humour to be a Spurs fan. Let's be fair. So yeah,
If you
do
don't, you'll
come
cry.
over and give me a sub. Because like I say, it's always a bit of fun over there. So yeah, please come over.
No, please do get over there and check it out. And everyone, thank you very much. Make sure you give Kate either the hands emojis or something in the chat, to thank her for giving up her time this evening to come on, even though she is still away on her North London derby trip. But Kate, what's your score prediction for this evening?
My score prediction for tonight is a 2-2 draw. I think there could be anything from it could be 2-2, 3-3, it could be 5-2, it could be anything. I see loads of goals tonight, but I'm sticking with 2-2 because I think we will concede. But yeah, I hope we don't anything. We've got to at least draw, but I can't see past the draw. But you know me, Dave. I always err on the side of caution.
Oh, look, Desmond's becoming very popular this year. It's the rebirth of the name. You know, it's becoming very popular. What's Jim going with behind you?
Jim's saying 4-0, obviously.
I think he's had too many coffees today, Kate, with the 4-0. But look, you know what? I'm going to go 3-1. I have no real sort of explanation for it. I'm just going off the fact Tottenham probably usually turn up when no one expects them to, or people have just lost the interest. All of a sudden, they make you hang on by a thread. So let's wait and see what happens. But also, it's the lineup I wanted to see, so I've got to back it. So for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham. Probably deluded, but let's wait and see what happens. Probably had too much coffee like Jim, but let's wait and see what happens. But guys, you can also check me out over here at the Irish Hotspur. Link is there if you want to get on that either. And follow me over there. But I do have to end off because your boy's busy. He's got his own match day stuff to do. But guys, make sure you smash the like for your boys here at WeAreTottenhamTV. Make sure you get ready for their watch along, which will be starting very, very soon. I don't know who's in studio, but it's always a good watch regardless. So make sure you hang around for that. That's it for myself and Kate. We'll see you very soon. As always, come on, you Spurs. More than ever before. In hands we trust. Come on, you Spurs. We never stop.